All right, here we go again. There is a matter I wanted to address right now regarding Western men, especially men, but not only. It's a sort of trend, which consists of leaving the so-called rich countries for poorer countries, basically leaving Western countries for some countries in Asia, in Latin America, or even in Africa if you're brave, or for Russia, for instance. And I've been there, I left France in 2010, so it's been 14 years already. Since then, I've spent 11 years in Russia, 2 years in several Asian countries, mostly in Thailand, in the Philippines and Indonesia, just to name a few. So I understand what's up there, I understand what you can find there you won't find in the Western world anymore, okay? So now I'm back, in Western Europe. I see what's going on. I hear people, talking about the current situation. I've been reading a lot about what's going on, in the US, in Canada. I see people complaining about, the very high prices of everything. Real estate, it's difficult to buy, even to rent. Groceries are getting more and more expensive. Cars, of course. All the insurances and all the services you need on a daily basis are getting more expensive, but the wages don't follow. They don't follow. For example, here in I'm not sure about any Western countries, but for example, here in France, I would say the wages have been stagnating for at least 15 years now. But no, to keep it simple, cost of living has basically doubled. Okay, so of course, people are now looking for alternative solutions to be able to afford, more, because they can't afford as much as before. They keep working, but they can buy only less and less. And of course, if you watch YouTube and you see all these YouTubers talking about how amazing it is to live in this country or in the other country, how cheaper it is, of course, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand it's cheaper to live in poorer countries. It's not always true, but it is mostly true. Sometimes it's slightly cheaper, but still cheaper. Sometimes it's way cheaper, depending where you go. But long story short, your money goes further in some other countries, especially if you manage to have an online business, or to be location independent, to be able to work remotely, and to earn, of course, and that's very important. Don't forget that. Of course, it's only true if you earn in a strong currency, in USD or in euros, for example. If you have a kind of business which is based in the Western world, your clients are Westerners, and you make a kind of average, or at least average, Western income, of course you're better off living in a poor country, because your money goes just further, but it is only true if you make money in the Western world. Okay, people sometimes understand that they want to move, to another country. Okay, how do you make money? Oh, I'm gonna find a job there, or launch a business. Okay, that's a very difficult, very dangerous leap of faith you're taking. Okay, because the wages there, of course, aren't the same. People's buying power isn't the same there. So make your money in the Western world and then move to a poorer, cheaper country, okay? But of course, if you manage to have that, if you manage to make money online, to be location independent, of course, you can level up your life pretty easily by just buying a flight ticket and move to another country, okay? So that's the first reason. It is cheaper there, and it is cheaper to live there, so you can enjoy more for not that much effort. You just have to buy a plane ticket and to get a visa. Not the end of the world, okay? The other reason why, mostly men, leave and move to poorer countries are women, okay? If you go there, for example, on vacation for just 1 week or 2 weeks, you quickly understand you're better off there when it comes to women. They are, on average, of course, it's always on average. On average, of course, they are better looking than Western women. They are more traditional. They still have some values, like our grandparents used to be. Kind of. Of course, there are some crazy Karens over there as well, but on average, of course, it's true, women in Russia or in Asia. I'm not sure about Latin America. I've heard a lot of Latin America. Some told me, women are awful there. Some told me they are amazing, they are beautiful. So I don't know. I've never been there, so I don't know what to think about. But I have to say, in Russia or in Asia, for example, there on average women are more attractive. They have more values. They are still, wife material. Okay, if you want to marry a woman and if you want to marry a woman and have kids, for example, have a family, you're better off, looking for women over there. Okay, so that's another reason. The other reason I see, other than the two first reasons, is of course the safety concerns we've got here, for example, in France or in Germany or in the UK or even in the US, with the shootings and so on. Sometimes it happens to be safer somewhere else. It's not always true. For example, I'm not sure about Latin America. I believe some places in Latin America are even more dangerous than France or the US. Never been there to verify, but that's what I've been reading. But for example, if you move to Japan, which is getting cheaper day by day now, if you earn a strong currency, of course, in strong currencies, of course. But for example, Thailand is safer. Indonesia is safer. Russia is safer. The streets are on average, of course, safer. You understand, your quality of life could be better there because you don't have to worry about a freak, about shootings, about knife attacks on the street over there. So there is a limit to this as well. For example, in Russia or in Thailand, just to name two countries, I've got on top of my head now. There are a lot more road accidents, car accidents. So it's safer in some ways, but in some other ways it's not safer. It's even sometimes worse. For example, driving in France is way safer. Or even driving in the US. I have driven in the US, so I know what it is. Is safer than driving in Thailand or in Russia. That's for sure. Okay, so it's not always true, but if you are looking for safer streets, better quality women, and cheaper places, of course, moving to a poorer country can make sense if you earn your money in the Western world. If you don't earn your money in the Western world, don't go for it because you won't be better off there. That's all I have to say today. But anyway, this is what I wanted to address today. I see a lot of YouTubers boasting about their lives in the non-Western countries, and it's true, you can find some things you won't find in the Western world anymore there, but don't think it's all perfect there. There are some other cons of living there as well. There are a lot, there are pros of living in Russia, I can tell you, after 11 years in Russia. But there are a lot of cons as well. There are pros of living in Thailand. I've lived there for 1.5 years. But there are a lot of cons as well. So depending what you are looking for, you could be better off there. But it's not always the truth, It's not always truth. It's not always true, sorry. All right, type in the comment below what you guys think. Where do you live now? Are you still living somewhere in the Western world or somewhere else in Latin America, in Asia, in Africa, in Russia? Tell me what you guys think. If this was helpful, consider subscribing if you haven't yet. And talk to you soon. I wish you a good one.